Hello, welcome to Andy Tales. After watching the video, make sure there's no one else in the room. Don't forget to write your city and the time in the comments.
The touch in the night.
Ever woken up in the dead of night, heart racing, sure someone was there? A whisper too close, a touch you can't explain? I used to laugh off those moments, blame them on bad dreams or too much wine. But last summer, in that house, something found me. It wasn't just in my head. It wanted me, my attention, my fear, maybe more, and it's still out there, waiting. I'm Lydia, 28, a graphic designer who was burning out. My life was a blur of deadlines, coffee, and a boss who thought 3 a.m. emails were normal. I was done. So when I saw an ad for a dirt cheap rental, a creaky old house in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by woods, I didn't think twice. 3 hours from the city, no Wi-Fi, just me and a week of peace. I packed my sketchbook, some clothes, and drove out, my hatchback bouncing over gravel until I reached the place at dusk. The house was straight out of a Gothic novel, 2 stories, peeling white paint, windows that rattled in the wind, the porch sagged, and the air smelled like damp wood and something sharp, like old smoke. Inside, it was all antique furniture, claw-footed chairs, a chipped mirror, a fireplace that hadn't been lit in years. The bedroom upstairs had a heavy 4-poster bed, draped in faded curtains. It was quirky, sure, but I liked it. I unpacked a bottle of Merlot, changed into a t-shirt and shorts, and crashed under the quilt, the open window letting in a breeze that carried the scent of pine. I was out in minutes, the hum of crickets lulling me to sleep. That first night, I woke up with a start, my skin prickling. It was pitch black, the kind of dark where you can't see your own hand. I felt watched, like eyes were boring into me from the corner of the room. My heart was pounding, but I didn't move, just listened. There was a sound, soft, rhythmic, like someone breathing, slow and deliberate, right by the bed. I held my breath, waiting, but it stopped. Then I felt it, a light brush against my ankle, like fingers grazing my skin, cool and fleeting. I yanked my legs up, fumbling for the lamp. The room was empty, the door locked, the window still open. I checked under the bed. In the closet, nothing, but my feet were bare. I'd gone to sleep in socks, thick wool ones, and now they were gone, not on the floor, not anywhere. I laughed it off, shaky, must have kicked them off in my sleep, right? I pulled the quilt tighter and stayed awake until dawn, the lamp burning. Morning came, and the house looked less menacing. Sunlight streamed through dusty windows, highlighting cobwebs in the corners. I found my socks under the bed, tangled in a dust bunny, and felt stupid. Just a dream, I told myself, pouring coffee from a thermos. I spent the day sketching on the porch, the woods quiet except for birds. But the house had this weight, like it was holding its breath. I found a guest book in the living room, pages yellowed with age. Most entries were bland, nice view, cozy stay, but one, from 2003, made me pause. Heard whispers at night, felt someone touch my arm, never coming back. I shut the book, my stomach twisting. Old houses creep people out, that's all. That second night, I was cautious. I locked the bedroom door, checked the windows, and took a sleeping pill to knock myself out. But it happened again. I was half asleep when I felt it, a touch. This time on my shoulder, slow and deliberate, like someone tracing the curve of my skin. It was cold, but there was something else, a warmth, almost inviting, that made my breath catch. I didn't move, caught between fear and a strange pull, like my body wanted to lean into it. Then a whisper, low and smooth, like a lover's voice. Lydia, my name, drawn out, intimate. I jolted awake, my heart slamming against my ribs. The lamp was off. though I'd left it on, and my shirt was gone. I was in my bra, shorts, and no socks. The quilt tossed to the floor. I scrambled for the light, my hands shaking. The room was empty, but the air felt thick, like someone had just left. I grabbed a sweater, checked every corner, nothing. My t-shirt was crumpled in the hallway, like it had been carried there. I didn't sleep after that. I sat on the bed, clutching a kitchen knife, until sunlight crept in. I tore the house apart, looking for answers. In the attic, I found boxes of old junk, letters, clothes, a cracked photo frame. The photo showed a man, maybe 30, with dark hair and sharp cheekbones, staring straight at the camera. His eyes were intense, almost alive. On the back, in faded ink, Elliot Harrow, 1998. I felt a chill, like I'd seen him before. My phone barely had a signal, but I searched his name. An article from 20 years ago popped up. Elliot Harrow, 31, died in a fire in this house. No cause listed, just a mention of a woman who'd lived with him, and rumors of an argument. I dropped the phone, my hands clammy. That touch, that whisper, it wasn't my imagination. The third night, I was terrified but too stubborn to leave. I'd paid for the week, and part of me wanted to prove it was all in my head. I set up my phone to record the room, propped it on the nightstand, and took another sleeping pill. I don't know how long I was out before it started. This time, it was different. I was dreaming, or thought I was. The room was bathed in soft, silvery light, and he was there, Elliot, from the photo, sitting on the edge of the bed. He was handsome, dangerously so, with a smile that made my pulse race. He leaned closer, his fingers brushing my cheek, cold but deliberate, like he was savoring it. "You're mine," he whispered, his voice low, almost a growl. His hand slid down my side, slow, teasing, and I felt this pull, like I was falling into him. It was wrong, but my body didn't care, responding to every touch. Then I felt it, something tugging at my waist, a cold, sharp pull, like fabric being dragged down my hips. I snapped awake, screaming, as the sensation lingered, real and terrifying. My phone was off, the battery dead. The quilt was on the floor, and my shorts were twisted, like someone had tried to pull them off. I grabbed the knife, my hands shaking, and ran to the mirror. My neck was scratched, red lines forming faint initials, E.H. I couldn't stay. I packed my bag, but the front door wouldn't budge. The lock stuck, like something was holding it shut. The windows wouldn't open either. I was trapped. I called the rental agency, but the line was static. And then a voice, not the agent's, whispered, "Stay." I dropped the phone, my knees weak. That's when I found the letter, slipped under the bedroom door, old and yellowed. It was addressed to me, in spidery handwriting, "You can't leave. You promised." I hadn't promised anything, but my head was spinning. I remembered my mom's stories, vague mentions of her aunt, a woman who'd lived in a house like this, who'd run from a man who wouldn't let her go. I'd never paid attention, but now it was all I could think about. I went back to the attic, desperate. Among the boxes, I found a diary, its pages brittle. It was my great-aunt's, from 1997. She wrote about Elliot, her lover, who'd been charming at first, then obsessive. He'd started a fire when she tried to leave, trapping them both. She escaped. He didn't. The last entry was a warning. "He's still here, in the walls, in the air. He wants my blood, my kin. I'm her kin." That's why he knew my name, why he touched me like I belonged to him. I felt sick, the weight of it crushing me. I don't know how I got out. I smashed a window with a chair, crawled through, glass cutting my hands. I drove until the house was gone, my heart pounding every time I checked the rearview mirror. But it's not over. I still hear him, his whisper in the dark, his fingers brushing my skin when I close my eyes. I found a photo in my bag, one I didn't take, of me sleeping in that bed, my shirt half off, and a shadow leaning over me. I burned it, but it doesn't help. Sometimes, when I look in the mirror, my eyes are wrong, pale, like his. So, I'm asking you, have you ever felt something in the night? Something that didn't belong? A touch, a voice, a dream that felt too real? Drop it in the comments. And if you've ever stayed somewhere that felt alive, tell me. I need to know I'm not alone, because I'm scared that he's still with me, and I don't know how to make him stop.